Hi everyone, welcome to the Essex Sport Facebook page. My name's Arlene. I'm going to have a 30-minute yoga session for you today. If you want to just make sure you've got plenty of space to move around comfortably, a yoga mat, that the floor that you're working on is stable and not slippery. It'd be great to have some water nearby too in case you'd like a drink, and just do movements today that feel comfortable for you. Okay, great. So we're going to start coming to a comfortable position in child's pose, but you're welcome to lay on your back if you prefer. So just coming through all fours and gently relaxing your bottom towards your heels. And you can slowly start to bring your upper body down towards the floor. And just check in how your back feels today. So you might like to find a bit of support for underneath your head, or you might bring your hands to the ground and your forehead as well. So we'll stay a few moments in child's pose, which is a nice posture to relax the lower back as well as your hips and your bottom muscles. And just make yourself comfortable so you can widen the space between your knees if that feels more appropriate for your lower back today. And just check in, are your arms comfortable? Do you like to rest your forearms on the ground, or you might like reaching your hands away? Or is it more comfortable to have your hands either side of your feet? So just notice what feels nice for you in this moment. And as you come to your child's pose, just notice the ground below you and the sensations, so you can start to relax into the earth. And as we bring awareness to your touching points on the ground, you can soften your shins, your knees, your feet. You're welcome to place a cushion underneath your bottom if that's more comfortable for a bit of support, or a rolled up towel or blanket, so whatever you have on hand that makes your body as comfortable as possible. And you might start to notice as you stay in this position, child's pose, that there's a little bit of release in your lower back, your mid back, and even the back of your neck or your shoulders. So we can feel the ground support us in our child's pose. Good, so one more breath here. Lovely. And then when you're ready, just very slowly start to uncurl your spine. Good, and we'll come up to all fours on hands and knees. Good, so from all fours, we're going to do this little rotation. So just set up so your hands are about the width of your shoulders and your knees about the width of your hips. Okay, so if you bring your right arm out to the side and then start to rotate from your waist, and you can look up at your fingers and just notice how that creates a kind of openness in your chest. And you might look up at your hands if that's more comfortable. Don't worry where you are in that rotation, wherever it's comfortable. Good, and then slowly start to exhale, relax your fingertips to the floor, and then start sliding your hands between your left wrist and knee. And you might start to bend your right elbow to rest the side of your head on the mat. So just come into that wherever that's comfortable, reaching your right fingers away from you, so you can start to soften your jaw between your shoulder blades. And just notice your touching points on the mat. You can relax your arm, your shoulder, good, and your jaw. Just check in that it feels relaxed. Lovely. And then we'll gently uncurl. Good, and stay on the same side. So if you extend your right leg out to the side of your foot's parallel with the side of the mat, and your toes are facing forward. We'll do that same movement with our arms. So just let it feel comfortable. You can adjust where your foot is. You can bend your knee if that's more comfortable. Right arm reaches out to the side. Inhale, gently rotate from your waist. See if you'd like to look up at your fingers. Just let your neck feel relaxed. Check in with your jaw. And then as you exhale, lowering, and that same movement again, you can start to slide your fingers between your left wrist and knee. Just stay wherever that's comfortable. Option to start to come towards the floor slowly and just with ease. So just check in with how that feels. You can relax the side of your neck, that space between your shoulder blades. You might start to feel a little sensation or release on your inner thigh. Good, and then we'll gently uncurl. Come back up to all fours on hands and knees, and just check in, how does the right side of your body feel compared to the left? Good, so we'll do the same sequence on the other side. So left arm reaches out to the side, inhale, rotating, look up at your fingers, feel your chest start to open, and then as you exhale, so you can adjust the arms, slowly relax your hands to the floor, reaching it between right wrist and knee, and just come into that range of motion wherever that's comfortable, softening the side of your neck, your shoulders, breathing into that space between your shoulder blades. Let your breath feel almost like a wave through your body. It fills you with gentle awareness of this moment. Good. Then we'll slowly uncurl back to all fours, and extending your left leg out to the side, toes facing forward. Just make it comfortable. Maybe there's a bend in your knee. Inhale, rotating. You can look up at your fingers as an option. Start to feel that openness in your chest. Good. And then as you exhale, lowering your arm, sliding your hand between wrist and knee, your right wrist and knee. Stay wherever that's comfortable, and maybe starting to slowly bring your upper body towards the floor, but just if that's comfortable, as much as feels comfortable. So just seek what feels nice in your practice. You can start to let your body unravel any tension that may just naturally accrue. Good. Just noticing where you feel release and space arising. Good. And then we'll slowly come back up to all fours on hands and knees. Good. We'll practice a cat and cow next. So just setting up again, hands about the width of your shoulders, knees about the width of your hips. And just slowly starting to feel your belly relax as your tailbone tips up. You might look up with your head and then drawing your navel inward, rounding your spine up. And you can look down at your knees, relax through the back of your neck. And if you'd like to add a breathing pattern to this, perhaps inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. But you might do the reverse, see what feels nice for you, what serves you in this moment. As you bring awareness of your breath with the movement, you might feel them start to match, so the length of your inhalation rises with your cow movement, and your exhalation relaxes the back body through your cat position. And also start to bring awareness through your touching points on the floor, so you can really let your hands relax into the mat like they're in soft sands. We'll do 2 more rounds of cat and cow, just a nice movement to awaken the spine. And that idea of relaxing into the floor helps to relax the rest of your body, so you feel spaciousness perhaps in your lower back, your shoulder blades, your front, your chest. Good. So to make that our last cat and cow. Good. Back to all fours, and we'll come back to child's pose. So just coming to bring your bottom to your heels, forearms down, any support for your head. You can use a cushion here or forehead resting. And again, if it's comfortable, maybe you like to have your hands near your feet if you prefer, and you can put cushions underneath your bottom, or if this is uncomfortable on your ankles, you can roll up your mat a bit and place a rolled up mat here underneath your ankles. Okay, so we'll just stay there and just think about, how is this child's pose now? How does it feel any different than the start, the first one that we practiced? Do you feel differently in your body? Does it feel a little bit like there's more space or release in your lower back, or just more comfortable in the posture perhaps? And just observe that without judgment. Good. And then we'll slowly bring our hands back underneath our shoulders, gently push back up to all fours on hands and knees. Good. And we'll set up for a puppy dog pose. So if you walk your hands forward, we'll keep our hips above our knees and just start to walk your hands in front of you. And just stop at anywhere in that range. You can widen your hands so they're a bit more like at a V. And again, so just thinking about long spine and neck, and progressively you might start to bring your forehead towards the floor, or if you have like a yoga brick or something like that, or cushions, rolled up towel, you can rest your forehead there. Okay, so just nice long spine, and you might think about that length from the top of your head through your spine to your tailbone that you're creating as you rest here. Good. And then we'll gently walk our hands back underneath our shoulders, slowly come back up to all fours. Good. And from here, if you just walk your hands kind of like on a, like if you had a arc towards the right side, and then slowly start to come through a side bend to your child's pose again. So your hands are walked over to the right side, bottom comes down to your heels, and then you might start to rest your forehead. You can rest it on your fist, your right fist, or maybe on the ground. Again, any support. Could you just notice how that makes a little bit of release through the side of your lower back on the left, maybe your bottom as well. Good. And then we'll gently uncurl and come back up, walk through center, and just do the same, walking your hands over to the left side. Good little side bend there, bottom towards your heels, forehead might rest on any support if that's more comfortable. Good. And you can adjust the width of your hands to feel as comfortable as possible. Good. So one more breath here, and gently uncurl, coming back up to all fours on hands and knees. We'll walk our hands back and just set up for downward facing dog legs. So if you relax your shoulder blades, tuck your toes under, and think about, again, your hands softening into wet sand, and gently bend your knees so your bottom comes towards your heels, and then with lightness, relax your hands into the mat, but lift your hips up. So can almost feel this opposition of your hands softening to the ground, but there's lightness in your hips, almost like a balloon is drawn them upwards towards the ceiling or towards the sky. And just stay in your down dog, make it your own. Maybe you like to bring a little bit of movement to this, bending one knee at a time. You can have your knees bent and really feel that length like we did in the puppy dog pose. Come to child's pose at any time if that's more comfortable, and you can even start to bring a little movement to your down dog by lifting one leg at a time and just holding for a few moments. You can even bring your knee towards your chest and lengthen your leg long. Good, so just make those movements that feel comfortable for you in this moment. Just a little waking up for our body in our down dog. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll gently walk hands to feet or feet to hands. If you're in child's pose, you can come up through all fours first and then walk your hands to your feet or feet to hands. And then come to forward fold and just stay there for a few moments. You can have a little bend in your knee and start to just let your spine feel comfortable. And just check in. Where's the weight in your feet? You can start to lengthen the back of your legs behind you if that's more comfortable. If you want to come into it a bit deeper, you might prefer resting your hands on your legs. Just notice what feels nice for your body. Good. But think about this fold from your hip space. You have kind of a longer spine. That might progress to, or that might just change a bit to having a rounded shoulders, relaxing downward. So wherever that's comfortable for you, but just feel like the tailbone lengthens away, but the top of your head is relaxing forward. That creates nice length in your spine, little bend in your knees as much as feels comfortable to minimize pressure on your lower back. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll bend our knees again, a little roll up of our spine to standing. Bring your head up last. Good. When you're upright, you can give everything a little shake, and then we'll stand with our feet about hip width apart and do this posture, which is called the skate gorilla sometimes. So inhale your arms up, exhale, sit to chair, let your arms swing down, and do that again twice more. Inhaling up, relaxing as you sit almost to a chair pose, and your arms relax down. Good. And add another one if that's more comfortable. And we'll just come to stand in a hip width mountain pose. And just notice if it feels like you're even with your knees above your ankles, your hips above your knees, your shoulders above there, and your head just resting on top of your spine. Good. And as you relax here, just start to notice the ground below you. Does it feel even throughout your feet? And we'll just take a little rock forwards and backwards to massage the soles of your feet. Good. And then just come to a stillness. Good. And as you come to that stillness, start to imagine sand, and you can draw the soles, your heels towards each other, and then the palms of your hands turn forward. Good. And just notice how that feels, and you might even start to rotate the palms of your hands away from you, so like your thumbs are coming to that space behind you and your little fingers come forward. And just notice how that feels on the chest space. Good. And then from here, turn your palms forward, but open your arms out into a kind of a low V, and just start to bring your arms a little bit behind you, just as much as feels comfortable. Good. And if you want more, just relax the back of your neck, but you can look upwards. Good. Almost like we're on the front of the Titanic. Good. And then from here, just lower your arms, turn your palms towards each other, and interlace your fingers. So I'm just going to turn to that side view. You can rotate through your shoulders and lengthen your knuckles away from you if that feels more comfortable. Engage your navel. Inhale, we'll sit to chair. Exhale, lead with your tailbone, coming to that chair pose, and just come into that as much as feels comfortable. You might turn your head side to side if you feel any tension arise in your neck at all. Good. And just feel that lengthening of your knuckles away from you, that openness this creates in your chest. Good. We'll transition to a bit of a forward fold, so keeping your knees bent from your chair pose. Bring your chest parallel to the ground. Stay there if that's comfortable. Any tension in your wrists or your shoulders, you're welcome to place your hands on your hips if you prefer. Good. And just, if you'd like, you can start to come to a bit of a forward fold by just starting to lengthen the back of your legs a bit to that space behind you. And just start to feel ease in your upper body. You're just relaxing. Good. And then we'll gently reverse, sit back to chair. And then relax your hands, arms come back to either side of your ears. And then push your feet, hinge upwards, little upper back bend option. Good. And then exhale, coming out to the side. We're going to play with our chair pose again. So if you maintain that hip width stance, good, and just feel again that a nice alignment, shoulders over hips. Exhale, sit to chair. Hands can be on your hips in front of you or overhead to see where that's comfortable.
And just check in with where your knees are aligning, just so it's comfortable. So you might have your toes up to the side, or the sides of your feet parallel with the sides of the mat. So, so wherever that's comfortable. Good. Just notice what feels nice. Lovely. So we're going to play with our balance in chair pose. So if you shift the weight over to your left foot and lift your right heel off the floor. And then just think about slowly starting to walk your foot a little bit behind you. So you can stop at any point. It might just be one little step back. You might like to step it further behind you. Just play with that for a moment. Good. So coming to our chair again, arms wherever they're comfortable, overhead, in the T, or in your hips. If you want more, you might lift your foot off the floor for a minute, then lower down. We'll just play with that balance. And if you want more from there, you might start to bend your right knee and bring your heel towards your bottoms. So your knee's pointing down towards the floor, but you can also flex your right foot. Good, so that little balance there, as much as feels comfortable. Come out at any time, and you can bring your toes down at any time. And then we'll straighten our right leg, walk back to our chair pose. Good, and then push your feet, hinge up. Little upper back bend. You can feel your fingers start to lengthen upwards. It's almost like your rib cage is lifting away from your hips as you come to that upper back bend. Good. And as you exhale, open your arms out to the side. We'll do our skiing girl again. So if you hip width apart, inhale, exhale. Sit as if to chair, but let your arms relax down. You can feel perhaps that creates space between your shoulders, your lower back. Good. Take one more. Lovely. Good. And opening your arms out to the side. So we'll come back to our hip width stance, and just noticing shoulders over your hips. Good. And then we'll sit back to chair again, wherever your arms are comfortable in your chair. Lead with your tailbone sitting down. You might move with your exhalation. Good. And then we'll come to our balance. So left heel lifts off the floor. Stay there. If that's more comfortable, you might start to walk the ball of your foot a little bit behind you. And just check in. How does it feel? Is it stable on your right foot? You can keep your toes on the floor. Same options here. Maybe you lift your foot off the ground. You can flex your foot and start to bring your heel in the direction of your bottom as much as feels comfortable. Good. And again, toes down to the ground at any time. It's a nice little balance. Good. And when you're ready, we'll start to straighten our leg again and walk the ball of your foot back. So we're still maintaining that kind of chair pose with your right knee bent. Good. And then slowly start to straighten your legs. Good little upper back bend option. Reach your arms up. Feel your front body start to open. Good. And then gently open your arms out to the side. And this time, if you just stand with your feet a bit wider than hip distance apart, and you could just start to rotate side to side. So you can let your arms feel quite relaxed and dangly. And if you want more, you can look over your shoulder as you rotate side to side. It's just a nice way to help relax the spine. You can even start to lift a heel off the floor. So if you rotate to the right, you can lift your left heel off the floor and vice versa, just to kind of deepen that rotation. And then we'll come to a stillness again. Good. So if you stand now with your feet wider than hip distance apart, and it might be nice to have the sides of your feet parallel with the sides of the mat, and just start to notice again your touching points. So your feet are relaxed. You can notice your shoulders above your hips, and the top of your head is just sort of lengthening upwards. Good. We'll bring our arms out to the side, rotate through your shoulders to turn the palms of your hands forward, and just stay there for a moment, reaching your fingers away from you. And then if you just start to flex the palms of your hands, it's almost like you're trying to touch the side wall, and then slowly start to bend your wrists so your fingertips come forward. Good. And just do that twice more. So palms of your hands flex, like you're trying to touch the side, and then bringing your fingertips forward so you can see the palms of your hands in your peripheral vision. So one more round here. Little movement for our wrist. Good. And then open your arms, and we'll rotate through our shoulders again to turn your palms up, and then slowly bring your arms next to your ears and just stay there. Perhaps it feels like when we were standing in our mountain pose and drawing our heels towards each other. So this nice alignment of our spine. Reach your fingers up towards the ceiling, create the length in your spine. Maintain that length, but fold from your hips to slowly come forward. So stop wherever that's comfortable here. You could bring your hands to your legs at any point. If you have like a block or a stool, you can rest your hands on them. If it's comfortable, you might come towards the floor and just come into that as much as feels comfortable. You can adjust the width between your feet. If you want to come into it deeper, you might widen the space between your feet. And you're also welcome to start to, if you're comfortably touching the floor, you might bend your elbows to bring the top of your head towards the floor. So just come into that as much as feels comfortable for you. We'll just stay there for a few breaths. Bend in your knees as much as feels comfortable for your body. It doesn't matter where your arms are, your body is. Just come to that space where you feel at ease. There's a nice hinge from your hip space as you come forward. It's almost like your tailbone lengthens upwards away from you. And your head, just relax. You might turn your head side to side if you feel any tension there at all. Good. And notice your touching points. Do you feel even? So the weight's not forward towards your toes or towards your heels. You're just relaxing downwards. Good. 2 more breaths here. Just observing the sensations of letting go. Good. And then when you're ready to come out, if you transition your hands so they're either on your hips or behind you, fingers interlaced, you can roll your shoulders back, push your feet slowly, hinge back up to standing. Good, just at your own pace. And you can step your feet together, give everything a little shake. Good, and we're going to come down to the ground through a squat pose or malasana. So if you turn your toes out to the side, so your heels are towards the center. Good, and then bring your arms out to the side as we did earlier, and you can rotate through your shoulders to turn your palms to face forward. Good, and then slowly start to bend your knees. We'll come back to that squat position. Good, and just stop wherever that's comfortable, so it doesn't matter where it is. Good, and then start to bring the palms of your hands to touch. And from here, just feel your spine long, but we'll start to do a little head tilt. So if you bring one ear towards your shoulder, and just notice how that can release the opposite side of your neck. Good, then head back up to center, and just use perhaps your exhalation to do the other side. So ear to shoulder on one side, and then relaxing the side of your neck and your jaw on the other. Good, then we'll bring our head back to center, and if you slowly start to bring your chin towards your chest, that might feel like it's lengthening the back of your spine. Good, so one more breath here, lovely, and then we'll gently bring our head back up. Bring your hands to the floor. Good, and we'll come to all fours on hands and knees. And from here, if you just start to rock a little bit forwards and backwards, you can feel a bit of a lengthening in your lower back as you rock forwards perhaps, and as you rock back, a little tucking of your tailbone. Good, and you can make that as large or small of a movement as feels comfortable. And it can be fast or slow, just to find the pace that feels nice for you. Good. And then we'll start to make a little circle. So if you rock forwards, over to the side, behind you, then the other side. Just do 2 circles in this direction, and when you come back to the starting point at the front, just reverse, go the other direction. This is a nice way to happen to feel a little bit of release on your rib cage, perhaps your shoulders, the back of your neck. Okay, great. So we'll come back to all fours on hands and knees, and just set up so it's comfortable. You're welcome to roll up your mat if you feel any tension underneath your wrists like that for a bit of support, or the same with your knees. Okay, so we're going to just relax your shoulder blades down, and we'll do something called a bird dog. So if you start to reach your right toes behind you, it's like they're right behind your shoulder, and then if you want to, you can lift your leg up straight, and then you can do the same with your opposite arm. So left arm reaches forward, and then if you want to, you can start to lift your arm away from the floor. So it doesn't matter where that is in the positioning, just wherever that's comfortable. You can change that by turning your thumb up towards the ceiling. Just notice what feels more comfortable. Good, and then we'll slowly lower down, back to all fours, and do the other side when you're ready. So reaching left leg behind, you might do right arm ahead, and you can lift your arm and leg simultaneously, or do one at a time, just see what you prefer. No pressure to hold it for a long time, just come into it as much as feels comfortable for you. Good, last breath here, and we'll gently come back down to all fours on hands and knees. Okay, so if you bring one foot forward, I'm going to bring my left foot forward, and just make kind of a right angle between the leg that's in front and the one that's behind. So you're kind of just parallel to, your hips are parallel to the ground. Okay, so from here, like the first motion we did, just reach. So if your left foot's forward, bring your left arm out to the side in a half T and rotate. So same if it's the opposite. And just come into that rotation as much as feels comfortable. If you want more from here, you can lift your back leg's knee off the floor and come to kind of a lunge position. Just see how that feels comfortable for you, and that might create a little release through your bottom muscle as well as your lower back. Just notice. Good, and then we'll slowly come back to center and back through all fours on hands and knees. Good, and just notice how that feels. Differences right side to left, and then do the other side. So your other foot comes forward. So same options. If you know you might want to lift your knee off the floor, you're welcome to do that now. So leg that's in front, same arm reaches out to the side, a little rotation here, and just rotate as much as feels comfortable. You can look wherever that's comfortable, at the floor or up in front of you or at the ceiling. Again, you might be up on the ball of your foot, wherever that feels nice. Good, so one more breath here. And gently rotating back. Good, then we'll come back to all fours on hands and knees. And just very slowly start to come back to child's pose, bringing your bottom to your heels, upper body relaxes. This time though, if it's comfortable and you have support for underneath your forehead, you might experiment with bringing your hands behind you or resting your hands on your lower back near your tailbone or interlacing your fingers. You can even start to lengthen your knuckles away from you so your arms kind of straighten through rotation in your shoulders. Good. And just stay there in your child's pose, wherever that's comfortable for your arms, your body. Good, one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly lower down. Place your hands by the width of your shoulders. Slowly start to uncurl. And if you come to lay on your back with your knees bent. Good. So if you have any straps or towels nearby, you might use them now. I've got a strap here. Okay, so if you bring one foot off the floor, so I'm going to bring my right foot off the floor and hold my shin. You can use your thigh as for support if you prefer. And just relax here. Let your hips feel even, relax your shoulders, then flex your foot and start to lengthen your heel away from you. So here you might use the strap if that's comfortable, more comfortable, around the sole of your foot, or you can use a towel or bathrobe, string, whatever feels nice. But relax your hips and just think about those touching points behind you. So your heel is just kind of softening away from you, so wherever that's comfortable, doesn't matter where your leg is in space, just wherever it feels nice for you. Or relax your shoulders and relax through your back body. Good, and then we'll bend our knee again. Bring your thigh towards your stomach, relax your hips evenly, and then flex your foot. And you can start to bring a little movement here by pointing and flexing your toes, which is a little bit easier if you don't have the strap. You could hold behind your legs, support your leg with both hands behind your thigh or your calf muscle. You can even bring a little circling in either direction. Good. And then we're going to bring our leg out to the side. So again, you can use your strap, you can hold your toe or back of your leg, and just slowly start to bring your leg out to the side. And the other leg can stay as it is, or you can even straighten it onto the floor. Just see which one you prefer. Good. One more breath here. Lovely. And then slowly bring your leg back to center. And then to lower down, you can either bend your knee or start to lead with your heel and lower your straight leg towards the floor with control. So it's like your heel's trying to reach away from you. Good. When your leg is in contact with the ground fully, just do it at your own pace. We can straighten both legs and just relax your arms by your side. And just notice how the right side of your body feels compared to the left. Maybe you feel longer or closer to the floor on one side than the other. Good. So we'll start with our knees bent to just do the same sequence on the other side. So option to use your strap. Lift your foot off the floor. So I'm lifting my left foot. Draw your thigh towards your stomach. Flex your heel. And then slowly start to lengthen your heel away from you. So support your leg wherever that's comfortable. Again, you can use your strap here if that's more comfortable. Good. Just relax through your hips, your shoulders, the back of your neck. Good. And then we'll bend our knee again. Thigh towards your stomach. Relax your hips, your shoulders evenly. And then lengthen your heel away from you again, wherever that's comfortable. And there's that option to point and flex your foot or circle your ankle in either direction. Just see what feels nice for you today. Good. And then we'll bring a stillness to the leg. Open your leg out to the side with support. Again, you can use your strap here if that's more comfortable. Good. And then the other leg, can keep your knee bent, or you might straighten it onto the floor. Just see what feels nice for you. Good. And just relax evenly, right side and left of your hips, your shoulders. And then we'll gently bring our leg back to center. Again, wherever that's comfortable for your opposite leg. Option to bend your foot and bring your foot to the floor, or keep a straight leg. Lower your straight leg down with control with your foot flex. Just see what feels nice. Just do that at your own pace, no rush. And then when you do feel your leg come in contact with the ground, you just relax both legs onto the ground, make a little adjustments. We'll just come to relax for a few moments. You can make a little stretches or have a little drink here if that makes you more comfortable. But just take a few moments to center your body. You might lay with your legs straight and knees bent, and we'll just relax for a few moments. So but just come to tap in with the flow of your breath in its natural state. The rise of the breath. Notice where there's movement in your body as you inhale. And when you exhale, let go. Relax through your back body, your shoulders, your feet, your hips. And you might feel with each breath progressively, feel a sense of calm enter. And with each exhalation, relax through your back body, your shoulders, the muscles of your face, your shoulder blades, your arms, fingers, toes. And just continue to stay with this rise and fall of your breath for a few moments. Feel each breath fill you with calm. With each exhalation, you can let go and relax your back body, your jaw, your eyes, relax. You can feel your legs, your hips, your feet soften. And just connect now with your breath for a few moments to turn inward. You're welcome to stay here for a few moments longer in your relaxation. When you are ready to come out, just do that at your own pace, and you can slowly bring little movements back to your body. So I'll leave you here now. Thank you for joining me in your practice of yoga, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And feel free to check out the other videos we have on Essex Sport and our YouTube page, and you can send over any questions on Messenger or email.